Okay. Welcome. Nice to see you.
Yes. Yes. I'm trying to get away from my boyfriend talking on the phone.
So should we do the chant for like a couple of minutes and then we will revive our reading?
Sure.
Okay. So let me pull up the chant. Okay, I'm sharing my screen.
Okay.
Do you see something?
Yes, now I do. Mm-hmm.
So let's chant for a few minutes and then we can read.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare, Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare, Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare, Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare, Hare, Hare,
Hare Krishna.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, yeah. Hare, Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare, Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare, Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare, Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare, Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare, Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare, Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare, Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare, Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare, Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, 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 right. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare, Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare, Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare, Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare, Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare, Hare.
Okay, one last time. Hare
Okay.
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare, Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare, Hare.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll go back to where we were.
I got the sun in my face and I'm trying to look up something on the laptop at the same time because I wanted to look back at what you had sent me in the messenger. Hold on a second. Sorry. This should be it. And it should be in there. Okay. I just wanted to look at what you sent me after the last time we were in the meeting. Okay, there we go. You had sent that you wanted to share points for your own benefit, and I appreciated you doing that. And I just wanted to refresh my memory of what you sent. That's what I'm trying to pull up here. And you said that Vedic knowledge given by Krishna is infallible, and Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the one who imparted the knowledge to Brahma, who was a demigod. And then Brahma then created the universe under the guidance and under the direction of Krishna.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's see what we have today.
Okay.
So yeah, we read that there are 4 defects that humans have, and I think we left off in this paragraph where we saw the 4 defects that a human commits mistakes, he's sure to be illusioned. We have a tendency to cheat, and then he's limited by imperfect senses. And the defects that we have, the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not have.
Right.
That's where we left off.
Okay.
So let's do the next paragraph, if you like.
Okay. Vedic knowledge is not imparted by such defective living entities. It was imparted unto the heart of Brahma, the first created living being. And Brahma, in his turn, disseminated this knowledge to his sons and disciples as he originally received it from the Lord. The Lord is Purnam, all perfect, and there is no possibility of his being subjected to the laws of material nature. One should therefore be intelligent enough to know that the Lord is the only proprietor of everything in the universe, and that he is the original creator, the creator of Brahma. In the 11th chapter, the Lord is addressed as Prapitamaha because Brahma is addressed as Pitamaha, the grandfather, and he is the creator of the grandfather. So no one should claim to be the proprietor of anything. One should accept only things set aside for him by the Lord is his quota for maintenance. So it's saying like that that we should not, like, that we don't own anything. It's not ours to own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
And we also discussed the relationship between Brahma and Krishna, which is being described here. So Brahma is our grandfather because he created all the living beings. And then here saying that Krishna, the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the great grandfather, meaning he is the father of Brahma. So Brahma created the whole universe, but then Brahma himself is the son of Krishna.
Okay. And Brahma is a demigod.
Yes, Brahma is a demigod, one of the demigods.
Okay.
like he's saying, he received his knowledge from the Lord. So Brahma received his knowledge from Krishna.
Okay.
Okay. Should we move on?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. There are many examples given of how we are to utilize those things which are set aside for us by the Lord. This is also explained in the Bhagavad Gita. In the beginning, Arjuna decided that he should not fight in the battle of Kurukshetra. This was his own decision. Arjuna told the Lord that it was not possible for him to enjoy the kingdom after killing his own kinsmen. The decision was based on the body because he was thinking that the body was himself and that his bodily relations or expansions were his brothers, nephews, brothers in law, grandfathers, and so on. Therefore, he wanted to satisfy his bodily demands. Bhagavad Gita was spoken by the Lord just to change his view, and at the end, Arjuna decides to fight under the directions of the Lord when he says, Karishye vachanam tava. I shall act according to your words.
Mm-hmm.
So, this paragraph, Prabhupada is saying that things which are set aside for us, we should use as our quota. So the first sentence is, there are many examples given of how we are to utilize those things which are set aside for us by the Lord. And then the example says Arjuna. So Arjuna wanted to enjoy with his family, his brothers, his nephews, his grandfather, his brothers-in-law, and Krishna wanted him to fight. And so the way Arjuna wanted to use what Krishna gave him is by enjoying what Krishna gave him. But Krishna is saying, hey, you need to fight with them. And so in the end, he agrees and he fights. So we have a particular idea of how we should deal with things, situation, and people. And Krishna in Bhagavad Gita is how he wants us to deal with situations, people, and what we possess.
Yeah, I did want to mention, this is all, this is my first study of it, but I did tell you that with my yoga studio where I do yoga and was taught yoga, my teacher training, that we just finished up the Gita, but it was a much more rapid, study of it. So I'm looking forward to getting more out of it, but our study, obviously, but the benefit of that is that I'm familiar with with it. Like, it's not all brand new, but it's nice to have like a little bit of background when you're talking about the battle at Kirk, etc., and how he didn't want to with his be fighting and warring with his family. I remember that from the very beginning when we started our study. So I was just letting you know that.
Yeah, nice to know the storyline and then to get the details in the storyline.
Yes, that's what I'm excited to get. I know you can tell already. I've been asking how much longer.
I'm excited too. The more number of times we read it, it gives a feeling that, oh, there is so much I missed the last time.
Yes, I can only imagine. Because and you've been doing this for how long? Did you say 15 years?
Maybe 13 years.
Oh, wow. It's amazing. That's impressive. I have a lot to learn from you.
I have a lot to learn too. My teacher has been reading for like 20 plus years now.
Oh,
And,
wow.
and his teacher, he has been reading for 50 plus years. So,
Oh, gosh.
yeah, and they have been applying in their own life. So I'm excited to follow them and learn from them.
Mm.
Okay, so let's move to our next paragraph. You want to read?
Sure. In this world, men are not meant for quarreling like cats and dogs. Men must be intelligent to realize the importance of human life and refuse to act like ordinary animals. A human being should realize the aim of his life, and this direction is given in all Vedic literatures, and the essence is given in Bhagavad Gita. Vedic literature is meant for human beings, not for animals. Animals can kill other living animals, and there is no question of sin on their part. But if a man kills an animal for the satisfaction of his uncontrolled taste, he must be responsible for breaking the laws of nature. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly explained that there are three kinds of activities according to the different modes of nature: the activities of goodness, of passion, and of ignorance. Similarly, there are three kinds of eatables also: eatables in goodness, passion, and ignorance. All of this is clearly described. If we properly utilize the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, then our whole life will become purified. And ultimately, we will be able to reach the destination which is beyond this material sky. And I'm assuming he's going to go on next to explain more, to explain what he's talking about.
What I get from this paragraph is Prabhupada saying there is a difference between humans and animals.
Mm-hmm.
And he is saying the difference is the intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Animals do not have intelligence, whereas human beings have intelligence, and they must utilize that intelligence to know what is proper thing to do.
Mm.
Like he's saying, if an animal kills another animal and eats, that's okay. But a human being, if he kills another animal or if he's eating meat, which is like consuming another animal, then he's breaking the laws of nature. So, Prabhupada's not appreciative of meat eating because animals also have a soul. And when they are killed, it hurts. And animals are also parts and parcels of Krishna. And Krishna is not happy if one living being is killing another living being to eat. So he has provided us with vegetables, fruits, and that are meant for human consumption.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what is being described here.
Okay.
Okay, so
Mhm.
let's move on. I like the last sentence in this previous paragraph we read. It says, all of this is clearly described, and if we properly utilize the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, then our whole life will become purified. And ultimately, we will be able to reach the destination which is beyond the material sky. Meaning, when I was a child, I would often look at the sky and wonder what's beyond this material sky.
Mm-hmm.
And I never had an answer until I read Prabhupada's books. And Prabhupada said, beyond this material sky is the spiritual world where Krishna lives. And it is possible for us to go to the spiritual world and live with Krishna if we follow the instructions of the Bhagavad Gita.
Mhm.
That was like that was very inspiring for me to read and understand and then try to follow.
Yes. Yeah, I understand. I understand 100%. I mean, it just makes me, I mean, because I know it's talking about being a vegetarian, and I'm not like a perfect vegetarian, and I would, I aspire to be, but like when it's worded like it just is, or like how you just, or how it's worded here, it makes it sound like you'll never get to heaven or nirvana or be with Krishna if you eat meat. And I guess I'll learn more as we keep reading.
And that is so because if we consider an example of a parent, and a parent has two children, and if one of the child wants to kill another child and eat it, how would the parent feel?
Right.
The parent feels hurt because both the children have come from him, and they don't now learn to respect each other and value each other's right to live.
Mm-hmm.
So if one wants to gain the favor of the parent, then one learns how to be nice to the other sibling.
Mm-hmm.
And so animals have also come from Krishna, and they also have an equal right to live as humans do. At the same time, I understand that people growing up eating meat, and then when they read Bhagavad Gita, it's like, hey man, I grew up with this, and now,
Mm-hmm.
how do I not do it, because it's so much part of my being. And advice that I heard for that, to accomplish that, was they said, watch your lifestyle. Say if in a week you consume meat, say 7 times, one meal every day. And
Mm-hmm.
so try to consume 6 times.
Mm-hmm.
So one small step in that direction, and see how you feel. And when you are okay with that, then you go from, say, 5 days to 6 days to 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
And so like this, you will be able to accomplish it in small steps. It's not going to happen overnight.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm nearly there. It's not like I was starting from scratch. I might eat meat like once every 2 weeks, but still, but like, I never heard it presented this way. So it's a lot for me to absorb and like digest.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
So Krishna is very accepting of us where we are, and then he helps us to take one small step, next step towards where we want to go. So like you said, like you eat once in 15 days or whatever, then
Mm-hmm.
you can see if you can do once in a month.
Mm-hmm.
and and that's a great progress.
Okay. That's encouraging.
Yeah, because Krishna sees our desire to move in that direction, and he's not like the experience of people we have in this world, where people say, hey, Do you have these skills? Yes, you get this job. No, you're dismissed.
Mhm.
Meaning that's the kind of environment that we live in, and we feel there is love only when we are at that platform. But with Krishna, Krishna is loving to everybody, and he is helping to take one next step, small step, but
Mhm.
another step, and he's happy to help us with that.
Okay.
So it's 8:28. Should we stop, or what should we do?
um, I could do one more if you can.
Yeah,
Are
sure.
okay. Mhm. Um, is it my turn to read?
Mm, yeah, you can read.
Is it with that destination?
Yes.
Okay. That destination is called the Sanatana sky, the eternal spiritual sky. Yad Gatva na Navatant Tadama Paramam Mama. In this material world, we find that everything is temporary. It comes into being, stays for some time, produces some byproducts, dwindles, and then vanishes. That is the law of the material world. Whether we use as an example this body or a piece of fruit or anything. But beyond this temporary world, there is another world of which we have information. That world consists of another nature, which is Sanatana, eternal. The Jiva is also described as Sanatana, eternal, and the Lord is also described as Sanatana in the 11th chapter. We have an intimate relationship with the Lord because we are all qualitatively one. The Sanatana Dhamma, or sky, the Sanatana Supreme Personality, and the Sanatana living entities. The whole purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to revive our Sanatana occupation, or Sanatana Dharma, which is the eternal occupation of the living entity. We are temporarily engaged in different activities, but all of these activities can be purified when we give up all these temporary activities and take up the activities which are prescribed by the Supreme Lord. This is called our pure life. Okay.
What is something that stood out for you from this paragraph?
That the Bhagavad Gita is like, well, it says right there, the whole purpose of it is to make us, or to teach us how to live a pure life, to stop the things that aren't part of the pure life.
I was very intrigued by the term Sanatana, or eternal.
Mhm.
And I did a little research to find out what exactly eternal means. And the definition of eternal is given as something that does not have a beginning and does not have an end.
Mm.
So, like Prabhupada is saying in the first second sentence of the paragraph, he's saying, in this material world, we find that everything is temporary. And then he goes on to say that it comes into being, stays for some time, produces some byproducts, dwindles, and vanishes. If we see our life cycle, it's that we came into being, we stay for some time, we produce some byproducts, then slowly the body starts to dwindle, and then and that's the nature of everything in this world. If you consider a building, at one point in time the building did not exist. It was just stone and rocks and whatever, the building material, and then
Mhm.
somebody put it together, made a building. And after some time, someone else comes, says, hey, I don't like the design of this building. They demolish the building and they build a new one.
Mhm.
So, so if we see in this world, everything is temporary, meaning it has a beginning and it has an end.
Mm.
And what Prabhupada's taking our attention to is something that's eternal, meaning something that does not have a beginning and that does not have an end. It is permanent.
Mm.
And you can rely on it, you can hold to it and be sure it will never be taken from you.
Mm.
Like today, the fear of life is something I have will be taken away from me.
Mhm.
And how will I survive because I am so used to it? That's the fear that everyone's going through.
Mm.
and,
Mhm.
and what Prabhupada's saying here is, while that's true, there is something which is eternal. And if you make your journey to understand the eternal and grab hold of the eternal, then you actually get rid of the fear that it will be taken away, because that cannot be taken away from you.
Mhm. That makes sense.
And he further goes to explain what is that. He says that is your relationship with Krishna.
Mm.
Nobody can ever take away your relationship with Krishna, because you come from Krishna and Krishna is your father, and that one relationship exists life after life. Even this life ends for us, that relationship nobody can take away from us. We always have it.
Mhm.
Like we are children of Krishna.
What did you say? We have to learn of Krishna?
We are children. We are we
Oh.
are we are coming from Krishna.
Oh, okay. Yes.
And so he's saying the purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to revive our Sanatana occupation. Like it is helping us to revive that we are eternal and Krishna is eternal, and we have an eternal relationship with Krishna. So he's taking our attention from the temporary to the eternal.
Mm. Would it be accurate in your opinion? Well, this is just would you say, like, the way I see it is like this life now that for me, I'll speak for myself. I feel like this life on this earth right now that I'm living is like training to learn to have the pure life and to give up the temporary activities and to do instead the prescribed activities by the Supreme Lord.
Yes,
Okay.
that's true. So this life is a preparation, and mm, based on our preparation, we we go to the spiritual world and we perform the same activities that we learned here to to be there. It's like mm, mm, you you do a vocabulary test or some kind of a test to get into a college. So the college speaks a certain language, and if you know that language, then you are permitted to enter into the college and learn further. But
Mm.
say if you don't know the language, then they don't allow you to enter the college, because you will be like an odd man out. You can't
Mm.
understand what they are trying to teach you. So
Right.
similarly, spiritual world has a language that they speak, language of respect, language of love, language of mm, oneness with the purpose of the Lord. And
Mm-hmm.
so if we learn that language, then we get entry into the spiritual world, and our journey enhances further in the spiritual world.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me.
So Prabhupada also says at times like this, he says, this life is a preparation and death is an examination.
Oh,
So
okay.
how well we prepare in this life determines at the time we leave this body, we are going to the spiritual world or no. So if we learn the language, then once we leave this body, we get entry into the spiritual world. But if our learning is incomplete and we have more to learn, then we come back in this material world. We finish our learning, we get another chance to learn, and then when we end our life, then if we learn, then we go back to the spiritual world. So he says life is a preparation, death is an examination.
That's good. Would that also mean that since we're here now, that means that like we previously tried but didn't get it right, so that's why we're here now, to try to learn more and get closer? Is that okay? that's what I thought.
Yeah. So yeah, we are here to learn, because this place is called the place of detention and the place of correction. It has
Oh.
it has two purposes. One is, it apparently poses suffering to us, so our attention to learn
Mm.
is enhanced. So it's a place of detention and it's a place of correction.
That's interesting. I mean, I like that put that way. I've never heard it put that way before. It's true. I mean, yeah.
So some, if you see in the world, some people are yet not looking towards correction. They
Mhm.
they still want to enjoy the world. They feel there is something in the world to enjoy.
Mm.
And so if you talk to them about Bhagavad Gita and
Mhm.
Krishna, they say, hey man, I don't have time for all this. Look at the
Right.
world. It's so beautiful. I want to enjoy it
Right.
uh,
Mhm.
before life ends. So their attention is there. And for such people, this world is a house of detention. So they try and try and try to enjoy, and at one point in time they will say, man, I have tried enough and it's all suffering, I'm not able to enjoy.
Mhm.
Like if you see COVID, man,
Mm.
people dying left, right, and center, and
Mhm.
you can't even think of enjoyment
Mhm.
because you are struck with fear that tomorrow maybe might turn, don't know.
Mm.
And so then one starts to move towards this house of correction, thinking, okay, what is this life all about? Doesn't look like it's for enjoyment.
Mm.
And then
Mhm.
one turns to the scriptures and the spiritual books to see, okay, um, I can't figure out on my own, so let me read these books and understand the way they are asking me to live life. Maybe that may make sense because I tried everything I could, but it is not making sense. So then one moves from being in that house of detention to the house of correction. And then one tries to reform and correct oneself to see, okay, is this working well for me? Or what's all this about?
Mhm. And I believe it's true that um, the lessons keep presenting themselves until we learn and can move on to the next lesson.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. One time I heard somebody say that if you go back and revisit the different situations in life we have had and we observe them keenly, we will see that Krishna is teaching us some lesson. And until we learn that lesson, the same situation keeps happening in our life over and over and over. And one day the light goes on and you say, boom, I got it. And then
Right.
and then you don't see that situation coming to you ever again. Be a completely different situation. So yeah, life is trying to tell us something, and if we catch that something, then we move on to the next lesson.
Okay. Well, thank you for your patience in teaching me these lessons.
I'm learning myself, so happy to have company to learn. We all need,
Okay. What were you saying?
I said we all need company. It's nice
Yeah.
to learn together.
Yes. I am gonna have to get off now here though. I have to go somewhere.
Yep.
But this time will work for me as long as I can get out of bed. Yeah.
And if you have to skip for some reason someday, that's perfectly fine, because
Okay.
we all are human and we need
Mhm.
some extra bit of rest and take care of ourselves. And
You're so sweet. Thank you. I'm very grateful for you.
thank you for joining, and thank you for your interest to
Mhm.
learn.
Absolutely. I'll see you next week. You have a great week.
Take care.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.